This week is super casual, just a stream of consciousness for you. Don't really even know where I'm going with this. We'll see. What this is this week, it's just like if you and I sat down at my favorite restaurant. I have just finished a plate of delicious biscuits and gravy. I'm on who knows what cup of coffee, maybe one too many, and I'm just a little bit too talkative. Here's some things I'd like to share with you. Hi, this is Larry Kaye with ShadowAnyone.com. I'm the creator of the Investigator's Ultimate Guide series. I am a #1 best-selling author a couple of times over, and I've got all sorts of resources for free over at ShadowAnyone.com. The thing that I want to talk about, I don't know if you've ever heard this phrase or made this distinction, but I think it really applies in our industry, investigative and security industry. My brothers and sisters who work security, this is right in there for you as well. It's the idea of inherited knowledge versus earned knowledge. Or I think the way I originally heard it was, it's the idea of inherited power versus earned power. And the classic example of this is a firearm, a gun. If someone has saved up their money, driven down, found the sidearm that they like, they've got the cleaning gear for it, the hard case, the lock. They've really earned it more, right? They've gone out and worked a job to pay for this firearm. And they're taking time, of course, to go to the range and practice and gun safety. So now this person has earned the power of that firearm. Imagine now a person, a crackhead, walks down the street, breaks the window of a car, finds a handgun under the front seat while he's just rooting around for spare change. That's inherited power. It just landed in his lap. He didn't do anything to earn it. Think about how these two people treat that power differently. The crackhead or anybody who just comes across a stolen gun, any kind of criminal, they're going to be a lot more casual about how they handle that weapon, how they carry that weapon, pointing it at people, discharging it. Very casual because they just inherited all that power. It's too much power without the character to wield it properly. Okay, what does that have to do with us? Maybe you don't have a sidearm. Maybe you don't carry one regularly for your job. All perfectly fine. I don't care to, haven't for 20 plus years of doing this. But the knowledge that we possess is the same thing. Some people go online and learn something very casually, and then they treat that knowledge casually, whereas other people have really earned it over the years. A really great example of this in my mind is lock picking. When I was growing up, when I was learning this, this was before the World Wide Web. If you wanted to learn about something, you had to go to the library, go through the card catalog. Excuse me if I'm speaking a foreign language to some younger people here. Every book was listed on 3 different cards, one by topic, one by author, and one by, drop it in the comments, whatever the third one is, I forget. Oh, title. One is title, one is by author, and one is by subject. So you could go to the card catalog and look up lock picking, find the books that correspond with that, use the Dewey Decimal System to translate that book into a number, go to the shelf and find it. Whew. I must exhaust myself just explaining it. I hope you didn't click away. And then you pull down the book and you start reading. And what is this? And I don't quite understand it. And this other book added a little bit more. And you eventually picked up whatever skill it was that you were interested in. Chemistry, lock picking, whatever it was. Now, and to me, it's a little scary. I'm not saying it's wrong. It's just a little scary that there are people like crazy teaching lockpicking instantly online. You almost, if you just have a whim, you pull out your phone, if you tap a little bit with your thumbs, and someone is teaching you a skill that might have taken quite a bit of time back in the day to learn, even once you put all the effort into finding the resource. Chemistry is the same way. To learn it, as I just described, from a library, that's a lot different than just click, click, click online. And maybe it's just a suggested video for you of how to make some kind of explosive or inflammatory type thing. That's just inherited knowledge. Then they just dump into your lap how to make something from household available chemicals and things that goes boom. That's going to get abused. And I'm not going to name specific examples, but if you're in this industry or just maybe just in real life, you know what types of things go boom in the real world on a petty small level, on a teenagers that are bored or what that kind of level. I would say even at the big level, the global terrorism type level, there are a lot of people who can learn to make some very deadly things very easily. They've just inherited that knowledge rather than earning it, and they use it like that. They use it too casually. The reason that I'm thinking about these things, that it comes up for me, is after 8 years of teaching things weekly online, there's only so much you can teach. And I'm actually very blessed that, you send me things and that I get ideas and that my brain is always working and that I work in this industry. And I'm always thinking of things I want to share with you and teach you. And by the way, when it comes time to buy stuff, remember, don't be buying stuff from someone promising you results they haven't obtained in their own life. Yeah, this is my industry. This is where I work and live and love this stuff. So I'm always coming across things to share with you. But is there stuff that I hold back because I just don't want it falling into pop culture? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And it only takes a quick breeze through the comments to see the number of people that reach out to me to find their long lost sister or whatever it might be. How do I do it, they might ask, or where do I start? Well, first of all, I grant you 8 years of videos is a lot of videos, but at ShadowAnyone.com, it's keyword searchable, and skip tracing will give you a ton of ideas and places to start if you need to find somebody. Earn the information. If you're too lazy to actually learn it, then you probably won't find this person. And the problem is, not that it really is a long lost sister, but if this is a domestic violence thing and the victim is hiding, old Larry Kaye is not going to just hand you the answer to finding her. It's just not going to happen. And I truly believe a lot of people are stopped at that point. As simple as it is, if you're in this industry, say skip tracing, that's pretty straightforward 99% of the time. But people outside this industry, they don't know. They check social media, it comes up blank, and then they're at a loss, which Public Records Mini Course, ShadowAnyone.com. If you want to learn to find people without using social media, or when that's a dead end or they don't have social media, that's the place to learn it. But there's just some stuff that people need to earn. And sometimes that earning is not all that difficult. I will add in here piracy, stealing digital information online, be it books, training videos, that type of thing. I mean, obviously that's something that hits very close to home with me because, that's a big chunk of my living is training people and the paid training. And that is not a small part of my income. It's a modest income, but it's a big chunk of it. And when my stuff is pirated and traded around online for free, I will tell you what, for a veteran-owned business, a family business, a small guy, that hurts. That really hurts. The only consolation I have, in a sense, is the people who steal it probably aren't even watching the whole thing, probably aren't learning it. And I don't believe anyone who's ever stolen my information has ever made anything of themselves from it, because that's not their character. That's not who they are. The person who wants to invest, one of my big courses are $400 a pop. And yes, they're frequently available for $250, not a small amount of money. But the person who's willing to put that much skin in the game, they're in the game now. That's a person who's going to put the energy and time and effort into really learning it and making something of themselves. And I know from the many, many emails that I get, and it didn't happen for the first couple years, which was kind of interesting. But as I've done this year after year after year, they've started to come in, and it's more and more all the time of people saying, Larry, you changed my life, or Larry, I opened my business, Larry, I got my PI license. And that really is a big deal. Congratulations if you've done it, because it's not an easy thing to do to get your PI license. Opening a process serving company, not the hardest thing in the world. Anybody who's got the motivation for that can make that happen. But getting your PI license, that's a tough thing to do. And I credit you if you got your PI license. If you learn stuff from me, if you were motivated by me, if my courses have helped you, that's wonderful. But and I guess I'm missing part of it, because the people who steal my stuff are never going to contact me and say that I was helpful to them. But I honestly don't believe that they have it in their core to succeed in this industry. And I honestly think until they stop doing the wrong thing, that really is holding them back. If you're if you're on that side of the wall, the mountain, the hill, I get it. I was quite broke once. When you get to the top of the mountain, when you get over the hill and you're on the other side, you begin to realize, that's you only get to the other side by doing the work to climb that mountain. That's just the way it works. Do you think this, or did you ever think this? Oh my goodness, I'm embarrassed. I'm going to share it with you anyways. I probably will edit this out. It's stupid embarrassing. Man, if I just get $5,000 a month, there's all these big rich corporations and all these wealthy people. If I just had $5,000 a month coming in, I would be set. I wouldn't have to go to work. I could just read or do whatever I want to do. I'd be set. Oh my. If you think that now, I get it, 100%. Used to believe that. That ain't the way it is at all. The way your life gets better is by the work that gets you to the point that you're trying to get to. If somebody hands it to you, no, it ain't going to happen. You're not a better person. The real ultimate goal is working to make yourself the best version of yourself. That's what it's all about. If you are a praying person, I think that it makes a pretty good prayer. Dear Lord, make me the best version of myself so I can lead others to you by my life and my love. Wow. I'm not saying I'm there, but that's where I'm headed. And without doing the work, no. It doesn't matter if someone hands you, if you just inherit that, it's not going to work. How many people hit the lottery and then 18 months later, 3 years later, they're bankrupt? They didn't earn it. They didn't have the skill set to handle money when it was $100 or $1,000 at a time. When it's $100,000 or $1 million, they still don't have that skill set. What you do with pennies matters when you have dollars or thousands of dollars. Okay. If you had to sum that up, I guess how you do anything is how you do everything. So if you're frustrated right now, if you're at a point where you're working and struggling to earn something, be it knowledge or a certain dollar amount or number of clients or whatever it might be, man, it's worth it. It's 100 times worth it because of the person it makes you. If you have any ideas about this, want to share, please let me know. I'd love to hear from you. In the meantime, this is Larry Kaye with ShadowAnyone.com. Remember, do the right thing, even if it's the hard thing.